Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be taking a look at a mid-range shadow list. While mid-range shadow is definitely not the best right now, I thought we'd take a quick look just to divvy up our videos a little bit so we're not just doing the same few decks over and over again. So this mid-range shadow list has 3 Haunted House as one of the new additives, along with 3 Demon Eater, keeping the basic structure the same, running Demon Lord and Serb, dropping Zombie Party just because the consistency isn't there. We really want more early game pressure in these sort of games now, so we're pushing more of an aggro curve in the beginning, especially with Haunted House. And obviously the double Phantom's Howl. I've got double Yerd. I dropped 1 Yerd for Cerberus, just personal preference. Other than that, this deck's really consistent. You can't really run the deck without Demon Lord or Cerberus because those two are really major combo pieces, along with the Haunted House, which is really crucial. Demon Eater, an amazing draw card. It's actually nearly better than Soul Conversion, but when you put those two together, they create a really amazing deck. So we'll get into some games here, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Alright, so the first match here is a Shadow match. Not all the decks I'm versing are very meta because people are kind of still experimenting, so I didn't really get many decent Blood matches, and most of the ones I did get I'd lost, so this deck really isn't designed to beat Blood out very well. I do have a Haven match though, and I think a Dragon match to go along with this Shadow match, so stay tuned for those. So we start out with a Skull Beast. You really don't want to be playing Haunted House turn 1, you'd much rather be playing it when you already have something on board to combo it with. I find that is a lot better way to use that card. So instead of playing Demon Eater, I play the Lurching just because I know Demon Eater can proc Lurching Corpse. This was one of the first matches I played with this deck, so excuse any misplays. On the other hand, we get a few options here, which I really like the trade and being able to use Demon Eater. Demon Eater being able to kill off this 4/4 while getting that 1 damage in, and getting an extra Ghost. So these are the sort of combos you're aiming for. Getting little bits of ping damage here and there until you can do big swing damages. Keeps things interesting. Definitely a fun little deck. Definitely not really competitive at this point. Maybe if things change, I could see this deck's speed being quite crazy. And as you can see, the draw power of the deck, comboed with the fact that you can summon ghosts off death, really works quite well. Just a pity we didn't have these sort of cards last expansion. Mid-range Shadow might have been even crazier. So they do kill off the Bone Chimera. We have a Yerd in hand, which is a nice little card to have, especially when you're using it with a Lurching Corpse. Fortunately, we do have Necro Assassin. They do go for the Soul Conversion, which limits them to 1 follower, making my Necro Assassin a guaranteed kill. Pretty much the best play that I could possibly want from this. Getting over an 8/3 that they just used a boost on. And I decided to evolve the Ghost, going for that lethal damage, knowing that Phantom Howl is so close to being within range. There was no point not doing this way. And with the following turn I can deal at least 7 with Phantom House, so instead we drop, I think, Cerberus as a much better play. Unfortunately though, we don't have much here. So the Cerberus is a really only decent option. Being able to play out the extra 1 damage off the Mimi, oh sorry, 2 damage off the Mimi to face, allows Phantom Howl to be completely active and within range. So they get rid of our 3/0 and just try and fill the board a little bit. Really not leaving them with anything worthwhile though. So they push themselves up to 8, putting themselves still within range with the Phantom Howl Coco combo, along with the extra evolve that we already have, which will close out our first game here, killing off Shadow. Alright, so we can go into a game 2, a little more interesting. Alright, game 2 is against Haven. I had a few losses with this deck before managing to get this win, which is kind of unfortunate. But it definitely shows that this deck is not, I wouldn't say competitively viable. If you're looking for a Shadow deck, This is definitely what you want to probably run next to maybe a Dark Alice or Nep deck. If you're looking for something aggressive, I'd probably go with this. If you're looking for something that can control the board, probably go with Dark Alice. And if you're looking for anything else, definitely run Nep. They're my personal opinions though, so take them with a grain of salt. Things could easily change in the coming days when the meta settles down a little more. We're starting to reach a point where we're going to have a stable meta, so at least until the 30th when changes are made. So this hand is really quite good. Being able to just curve out is nice. The Demon Eaters are just an amazing card. I knew that card was going to be good. It was basically a better draw card than the other one. Getting a body off it as well as the fact that it clears things, and comboing it with things like Haunted House, like we can here, is just crazy. So I use that, proc the draw, get a ghost, keep back Bone Chimera on board. This Haven really didn't do much using double Elena. I know Elena Haven is quite good, but I just personally think it's not quite as good as running Argus Haven. Once you drop Argus turn 9, Elena just kind of loses if it doesn't already have board presence, and you can pretty easily clear in most cases. The only real problem with Haven is trying to deal with once they get really big, but Haven on Haven has that advantage, Shadow on the other hand doesn't. Luckily we do have the possibilities with Necro Assassin, which I quite like. So after a few games I got the trick that you really don't want to be playing both Haunted Houses on the board at the same time unless the previous Haunted House is about to expire. So you don't really want to play it until the final turn, you don't want to play it in this kind of turn, just for the fact that you don't want to clog your board with ghosts that you can't get rid of easily. Unless you're going for lethal already, that's probably the only situation where that's really good. So like see here, I play the extra Haunted, just because I know getting this bonus is good. And I'm able to get rid of a ghost using the Demon Eater and just proc the ability off them. And then just play out whatever I want. Which happens to be Attendant. So we do get the Demon Lord on turn 7. Pretty ideal play really, especially on a board when Haven doesn't have anything. This Haven class unfortunately just really didn't have the stuff to compete with what I had. I think if they had a better hand I probably would have been pretty screwed. So it got a little bit lucky for this match, but definitely showed some interesting combos I felt. Being able to use the demons and the houses and everything in the nice combo type ways. This is a play that I never really thought about with White Swan and Black Swan. If your opponent's board is full, playing it will then banish the excess, meaning you get a free evolved follower without really any big downside. Alright. And so, the final matchup for this video will be against Dragon. I tried to get a few different classes. I wanted to have a Blood win and a Sword win, but unfortunately the games I had were really close and I ended up losing. And I just didn't think they were that good. It was mainly just they played on curve. I didn't have quite what I needed at the time, and it just made the matches really, really difficult to try and keep up with. And unfortunately I don't have all the things I want to build a decent Dark Alice deck yet. If I can build a decent Dark Alice deck, I'll definitely be doing a video of that in the coming few days, hopefully. So I did get rid of my 1-2 Lurching Corpse, making things a little difficult. But Attendant pretty much fills that slot nicely. Dragon is one of the harder classes to beat with this, just because of their potential removal and ramp. So unless you get a nice hand for your opener, it's going to be a little harder. So I decided to just play Demon Eater. Yeah, it's like, screw it. Attendant's not bad. Being able to get that out is nice. Probably could have soul conversion to the 1-2 if I wanted. But I didn't see the need to overdraw with what I already had in hand. Which is not bad. We do get all 3 Necro Assassins. A crazy thing to draw out that way. So I decided to take it this time. Giving us some extra draw. And an extra follower, which is not too bad at all. They do go for the heal though, and ramping. Not nice when you get both heal and ramp. And I have to deal with a huge board. which makes things a little trickier. This matchup was definitely one I'd consider close overall. So we ping a little damage, pocket, get a ghost, ram a couple more damage to face. I think we totaled 5 damage this turn along with 1 clear for a couple card combo, which is pretty respectable. So we do have Phantom Hound, which is the card I was banking on here. With what we have on board, what we have in hand, I have the potential to push a shit ton of damage very quickly. Luckily here we don't see them drop Goblin, which is pretty much the saving grace at the moment. Because that allowed Demon Lord to trade nicely and get an extra few damage. Which pretty much sets up our next lethal. Being able to push an extra, what, 7 damage this turn? If I wanted to, I probably could have pushed 9. But I decided to hold off just in case Phantom Howl or something else needed to be used. I want to risk that potential damage. So they do play the Goblin Mage, along with an Ivory Dragon. Which then goes into, I believe, Jabberwock, yes. An amazing animation with those eyes, I do enjoy that. Luckily they don't get too much, they get 1 Genesis, which only allows them to clear board, which won't be quite enough to win this game. Giving us the victory through a simple Phantom Howl Evolve combo. Well, there we go. So with that, we've presented Midrange Shadow. Definitely not a bad deck. I don't know where I'd really make any changes. I'm not the most proficient when it comes to making changes to a Shadow deck. And after playing probably about 10 games total with this deck, it's just difficult to say. Maybe you could swap around zombie parties and a couple of smaller cards for different things, but overall it's pretty much standard. You could maybe drop things like Necroassassin to 2 maybe if you want to increase your Yurd count or increase something else. I'm not really sure personally. This deck's definitely not that expensive though. The triple legendaries and what, 4 golds in this variant of the deck really isn't that bad, and most people do have Cerberus and Demon Lord from the last expansion. So if you do, this is a potential deck that you could build just to run through missions, to just pick up unranked wins, maybe even if you're lucky, advance through ranks. If you are in lower ranks, that's probably where I'd recommend this deck the most. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to check the link out in the description below for the deck list along with the original source for this deck. And I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.